Welcome to Barstool's Most Dangerous Game Show, presented by Mattress Firm After Show. Jeff D. Lowe alongside three contestants. One was no longer in the game, Sydney Wells. One who made what has been the biggest twist, not a twist, because I guess a twist is something that's planned. This wasn't planned at all. A shocking decision. Jordan Woodruff, who eliminated her friend in the game. And then Smitty. What's up, Smitty? Smitty, I got to say something off the top. You're my least favorite type of reality show player. I just have to note that.
Why, Jeff? What did I do wrong?
You're mad about Alliance guy is my least favorite. Of all the seasons, guy who loves the team more than the individual portion of the game is my least favorite.
It's the strategy. As you can see, I haven't won any challenges. I have to be as diplomatic as possible to move on and survive. I'm not trying to piss anybody off here.
That's just my favorite player to hate is at the end of the game. They're like, what about the squad? It's like, only one you can win. But let's start it out. Jordan eliminated Sydney in a rather shocking elimination. All throughout the episode, it seemed like it was Sass versus Tommy. Neither of them got put in the Mattress Firm mansion. Smitty, congrats, you got put in twice in a row. You seem very conflicted, but also happy just to relax. Jordan, at what point during those day or 2 days, sorry if I was not there, so if my days are off, during that process of from the challenge, maybe it was during the challenge, to when you eliminated Sydney, at what point in your head were you sending her home?
Yeah, so it kind of like what set me off originally was when she sabotaged me with the water, because as we said, we had an alliance to sabotage Tommy. So right away when she sabotaged me, I was like, wait, is Sydney actually out to get me? But then I kind of put it aside, and I swear I was not going to eliminate Sydney until probably maybe an hour before elimination. Something just clicked in my head, and I was like, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win. Sydney's my only competition, and if she stays, I have no chance at winning. And something just like flipped in me, and I was like, she's got to go.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that too, and you kind of answered the question is how much did that part of the challenge like really factor in for you? Because you were seeming pretty taken aback by it. And Sydney, I will let you follow up and kind of give your process behind voting for Jordan, because it kind of seemed like the beginning of the end there. But did that kind of linger throughout the challenge for you, Jordan? I mean, you ended up winning, so it wasn't a big deal, but that was the most upset I feel like you had been maybe all show.
Yeah, because a lot of people asked if I purposely sabotaged Sydney in the fire challenge, and that was literally just to keep the challenge interesting. Like, there was no sabotage intended in that episode. But with the water thing, since we were so far along and towards the end of the show, when she sabotaged me, I in my head was like, wait, what is she doing? This was not the plan. The plan going in was to make Tommy lose. Now I don't know what she's thinking. And I was angry. I think that anger helped me win, because I remember being very scared that if I don't win, I could be sent home, because I just was starting to lose trust in her at that point.
I hadn't seen the episode, so I actually kind of thought that this might happen, but I was like, I don't see it. Not that either you can't be ruthless, but I was like, it is such a strong power play, and there are other factors. Obviously, it's not like you're down to the final 3 or 4. It's 5 of you. So I was like, maybe there's too many things at play for them to actually do it, because it's still a risky move with 5 people left, because you're not really guaranteed to control the numbers. Obviously, Jordan, as you eliminate Sydney, at the time you believe you have an alliance still with Smitty and Tommy. We'll get to Smitty in a second, because your reaction, you were quite stunned. But Sydney, what was and then I'll ask you about if you had an idea it was going to happen at any point, but what was the thought process in voting Jordan in that challenge? Because I know you said you thought she had an understanding it didn't matter who won. But for me watching, I was like, I don't even know why she did that, because I don't think it really would have made much of a difference at all. It ended up kind of only just pissing her off.
So I did that because I felt like Jordan and I were really upfront with each other throughout the entire competition. We were always like together. So I think I probably even mentioned to her, like, it wasn't personal, like afterwards, but I didn't think Tommy was ever going to win. It would, no matter how much water he had. I thought Jordan could have won that, but I wanted to win because I already voted off 2 people. And I was like, well, they hate me. They're not going to vote me. So one way to like show maybe that I can win this game is just continue to win all the challenges. So then maybe they have to vote me. But since I already voted off 2 people, I honestly didn't think that my chances of actually getting voted in the final were like slim, because they are Vibs and Bree both like don't like me now. So I probably don't have their vote. So that's why I thought about it. I was like, I don't think Jordan would ever vote me off. I felt like we had a good alliance, a good understanding. So I felt confident in doing that because I figured she would win. And I just wanted to win to hopefully rack up my points on that side of the thing. So in the finale, they would have to vote me instead of hate me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that is. I mean, obviously, I mean, if you just win all the challenges, you are easily the strongest looking competitor. And I mean, if anyone watches any reality show that involves voting, you know, it always comes down to one of 2 things: it's either a spite vote or a vote for the game. And if you win a lot, you're typically going to get a fair amount of votes, though every now and then that's not the only thing that matters. But I guess for me, going back to that is that your thought process still, though, was if I win, I'm not going to vote her, but if she wins, she's not going to vote me. Does that feel like almost flawed now looking back on it? Or maybe that wasn't I mean, obviously it wasn't the only reason Jordan eliminated you, but like you're like, shit, maybe in the end, like it could have been good to go after Tommy.
Yeah, I think that I mean, with Jordan is like, I just felt like we had such a big alliance that like, okay, we're just gonna get to the top 4, and then it's off man for themselves. Then you just whoever wins, when whatever. So I just honestly, like, going back, I probably should have been a little bit more strategic and maybe held back what I said and maybe fought for myself. But I know that at one point I did ask Jordan, like, is a target on my back? And like, and she said no. So that's when I was like, okay, I can trust her. And so I honestly I had no idea probably until the elimination when I could tell that something was off with Jordan. And I was like, all right, I'm going home. And then obviously that happened.
Yeah, at what point chronologically during that, like, is it before she stood up and looked at everybody, or is it when she stood up? She
right
kind of stood up with a little bit of pause. You could tell.
Yeah. Right when she stood up, I was like, okay, I know. Like, it was obvious because her mannerisms and how she was up, and I could tell she was nervous. And yeah.
Smitty, you were quite stunned by yourself.
Yeah. Me going to the mansion was, I believe, planned by all of us beforehand. Everything was going according to normalcy up until Jordan just dropped the atomic bomb on everyone. And looking back on it, I don't begrudge her. I mean, Sydney won the game up to that point. It was pretty obvious. So Jordan was playing to win the game, and I respect the shit out of that. But you see my brain melt in real time trying to comprehend exactly.
I mean, Roan's melted. Roan, another great job by Roan. By the way, Roan turned a little bit of a fourth wall break at the end of the episode. Roan kind of turns to the counselors like, what the fuck?
Yeah, if I thought I was genuinely safe because I wasn't really a threat to anybody at that time, and of course I was in the mansion. I would have put it at 90% Sass going home, 8% Tommy going home, 2% Sydney, and Jordan, more power to her. Made the play to win the game. So I respect it, but it obviously going forward just completely befuddled my instincts, my mind. I said in the show that I didn't think I was pulling strings behind the curtain, but I referred to myself as Oz, thinking like, oh, this is exactly how it's going to go. It's going to be the 4 of us in the end because that's what we said from the beginning, and everything's going to plan, and everything was perfect, even me getting there in the mansion. So that obviously threw me way for a loop, and I didn't know at that time how it was going to go forward. But yeah, it's definitely shocking.
Yeah, I think it's a strategy play, and actually, wait, I'll ask this. Had you won, Sydney, would you have voted Jordan, you think? Would that have been a moment that you'd have been like, maybe I'll take her out?
No, I wouldn't have voted Jordan. Well, I mean, I guess I would have thought about it. I don't know. I didn't win, so I haven't really thought about that. But I knew she was my biggest competitor. But if I would have won, I don't really feel like I would have probably voted her off. I would have kept her to the final 4. I was like, if I would have won, I would have thought about, obviously Smitty, Sass, or Tommy. Smitty and Sass, in my mind, in that instance, when I had a conversation with Jordan, I felt like they were the popularity votes. Like, if they get to the final, it doesn't matter if they won anything. Like, in my head, they're going to be popularity votes. Everybody loves them. They don't have a target on their back. So
my thing about I guess that scenario is I don't think either of you, Smitty, I think if say, had you been in, which you weren't, you obviously couldn't compete, had you won, had Tommy won, had Sass been able to compete and won, I think they could have really taken anybody out. Going kind of into the second half of the episode, I just didn't think there was any option for Jordan or Sydney. I think they had to cut the other one out. I think this was just it was kind of time to go on this. I think, hypothetical, Sydney might have garnered some more votes based on just winning things, but Jordan's played a pretty great game as well. I think there'd have been some vote splitting there. And obviously we have one more episode left. We have no idea how it ends, but I think in a hypothetical world where the two of you are still alive, I think it was kind of all you could really do. Jordan, who would it have been had you not voted Sydney? Like before you had the moment of clarity, you're like, she's got to go. Who was it?
Sorry, it froze for a second. So I'm trying to remember. So I think I was between Tommy and Sass for the majority of the day. Smitty, I was so okay putting in the mansion. But I think in my head, I wanted to take Sass out because, like I've said very many times in the show, I don't think Tommy's a threat because everyone hates him, but Sass could be a favorite vote since everyone loves him. He doesn't have a target on his back. So I think I was leaning towards Sass. But the more I thought about it, like I said, Sydney was she's the only person I thought of as an actual competition. Like I thought in my head, I could beat Sass, I could beat Smitty, I could beat Tommy at the end of the day when it comes to the council. But Sydney, there's no way they're going to choose me over her because she has just played such a good game. And I also felt like at that time, Bree still hated me. I felt like Billy hated me. Vibs I felt okay with, but I just felt like Sydney had more votes at that point.
Yeah, which we know going into this, it would have seemed like Vibs would not have voted for Sydney. We talked to Vibs last week. Well, I'm curious to see kind of where everyone stood depending on certain situations, because this is obviously the big swing, the big move in this. Sydney, you kind of mentioned it. Do you think going back and say redoing this game, would you have maybe? Don't take this wrong. I'm not saying you talk too much in an annoying way, but you did a lot of talking to a lot of people, especially I felt like in this episode as well. Jordan, you did as well, but you were in a much better position because you were in control. But do you think you might have peeled back a little more, even in the last couple episodes? Because it felt like you were still in control, but you were in control without control. And that's a very dangerous spot to be.
I think this episode, I would have, looking back, I would have just kind of kept to myself more. But I honestly feel like it didn't even matter because Jordan just threw such a curveball that it didn't, whatever I said, I feel like, because we were so close. There's obviously a lot that hasn't been in the show too, but we talked a bunch with the cameras. I don't know. I just don't think it really mattered. I did talk a lot though. I wish I would have. Oh, no, not going into it, but just at the campsite. The cameras were rolling, but not everything made it. But
you guys slept in the same fucking tent.
And our alliance was so close that I just feel like I opened up more. You can see from the very beginning to now, I was more quiet, and then I got a little bit more okay, now I can open up, and then.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for episode 1, 2, and 3, I was building friendships, and then all of a sudden episode 4, I was like, crap, we're in a game show. This isn't to make friends. And something literally just clicked in me about an hour before the elimination, and I was like, okay, do I want friends or do I want $25,000? And I was like, I need the money. So
you won the challenge. Absolute power corrupts.
I think it was just so confusing, and going into episode 4 too, is because we were all like, how the hell are we gonna win this?
Yeah, and we don't know what episode 5, what that's gonna be about. We didn't know if we had multiple games left, one game left, who's in the final, how the council's participating. We were so confused and delirious at that point that I feel like we were all just kind of going crazy.
Yeah. And then I guess I talked a lot to Jordan and was so open. And like looking back, I should have remembered it's a game show. Like she's my friend, but it's a game show. I should have taken a step back and maybe even like reminded her to save me. But it's okay. I was just, yeah.
But that's what makes it even more surprising to me is the four of us decided that we were in control of the game. We can get it down to us four, and then the gloves were off. No animosity. Then we could start playing the game. Like that's where my head was at, and obviously I didn't have control of the situation, so I thought that's exactly how it should have been done. But throwing that curveball,
yeah, but like with us four, in my head I was like, if it's us four, Sydney's winning. Like that's all I kept thinking about, and I was like, why would I put a winner in the final four with myself? So I was like, I got to eliminate my biggest competition.
Yeah, I mean, it was, Smitty, you said it was a fucked move, but I truly
I get it.
think Jordan had any other option in that moment. I will ask this too. Last couple episodes, a lot of talk about like the way Tommy's played the game. The three of you, Jordan, I would say you're a little, I think, quieter, sneakier with the game, a little more reserved on things. But I think Sydney and Smitty, you both are very upfront and you're very honest with all the people that you talk to. Where you look at someone like Tommy still in the game going into episode 5. Sass doesn't say a ton. He's very selective. But Tommy, and I mean this as a large compliment to Tommy is like very largely full of shit. And he's a phony. He's putting on a phony act, and it's working because he has a couple mindsets he's trying to follow. And so far it's skated him through the game. He used a more reserved tactic this episode. He didn't want to say much, didn't want to speak much, just kind of like, hey, let other people catch the fire. Knew if he put himself out there, Sass may not have the target. Would you have been a little more or a little less honest, I guess? That's for Sydney first, because Smitty, I don't think it's possible for you. But Sydney, would you like maybe even dial back? Like when Roan asked you questions, like, sorry, wrong with the question. Roan asked you about, is your crust of Jordan still there? And you gave a very like, way too honest answer.
I know. Trust me. I look back at that and I'm like, why did I answer like that, Sydney? You're an idiot. Oh, trust me. I remember, and I'm like, I feel like I forgot I was playing the game.
We all did. Like we were delirious at that point.
We were. I mean, it was just like, going back, Jeff, I definitely would have like changed up a little bit, but.
Because I felt like that answer. I mean, that is also part of like why everyone was aligned with you. So like, you could counter what I just said and say like, well, that's kind of against why she was successful. But yeah, that moment when you watched it back, was that one of those moments you're like, oh fuck, I should.
To be honest with you, I said it, and when I said it, I was like, why did I just say that? I was like, oh my gosh, I just buried myself, and that's when I like, and Jordan, I think was just like, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting voted off now. But
yeah, it was a risky answer. Yes,
it was a dumb answer. It wasn't risky. It was so dumb of me.
Yeah, watching this back, I have to admit that I was way stupider than I thought with Tommy. Like now I see why Bree's so angry, because I truly trusted him throughout the whole show, and then rewatching, I'm like, wow, how did I let?
I feel the same way about Sass too, though, because Sass is not doing much different than Tommy, except Sass just doesn't have a shirt with all the Survivor Seasons logo that he has in his drawer back home. Like Sass is not doing anything. Tommy's a little more like blatantly strategic, but Sass very clearly, like these confessionals happen during the show. Like he is talking about the game in a way that is working for him. Like did you Sass now looking back?
Sass fell into that strategy, and a light bulb came open for him and lit up that, oh shit, like I can just stay in the mansion and just try at the end and come through. Tommy's strategy, yes, it looks like he's manipulating everybody, but the gameplay and the rules of everything, we couldn't have done anything different. Everybody was being Bree, Vids, everybody was being eliminated because we were in control of the game. Just because it makes Tommy look better doesn't mean Tommy was like in our heads and manipulating everything.
Yeah, it is funny, like watching it now through 4 episodes, you're like, wow, they almost have the same, like, though you just say he kind of fell into that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been crazy for Sydney for you to eliminate Tommy or any one of us over Vibs and Brink. It would have been batshit.
Yeah. That early on, especially.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to remember what my thought process was after the take episode 2. I think I did tell Jordan, it's like if you vote Tommy, you're gonna, that's a good time because everybody on the council is gonna respect you a lot. And that's when you'll get their vote. Which maybe that's what I would have done. I don't really even know, but I don't know.
Yeah, this episode.
Tricky.
If Tommy got voted off this episode, I think that would have been acceptable because you're getting into the final 4. But before this, Tommy fucking manipulated everybody who was playing the perfect game. It was just the way the game ended up being. It wasn't Tommy doing anything.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I think a lot of fans initially wanted him off the first episode, but then in the following ones, it just kind of made sense to keep him where he is now. And again, I think if the situation had been a little different, maybe say Sydney's in the house, flip it, Jordan's in the house, Sydney, then maybe, yeah, I think he was very obviously the next person to go. I don't think Sass was the obvious person to go, at least from my angle here. But again, that didn't happen. And Sydney, the target was there. Smitty. Yeah. Smitty, you were sitting on the bed, very happy to go into the Mattress for a Mansion again. Play some pool, eat some snacks.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset more that footage didn't come out. Sass and I had a nice boys'
night. But you're getting up and you're leaving that campsite. Mm-hmm. Is your mindset different than when you were voted in? Because now you're alone. You're alone, and your alliance just got cut down.
Yeah, if I was going in and everything went to plan and Sass was out, I would still feel fine because even though I'm not competing in the next challenge, I'm still not the biggest threat there. I mean, whoever wins,
and everything would have held the form, right?
Yeah, exactly. Whoever wins, if Tommy wins, one of you two are gone. If Jordan wins, the other two. Same thing. So I was fine up until Jordan eliminated Sydney. Then I'm like, well, fuck. Now I have no control over my destiny.
I won't spoil much because I have not seen the last episode. I don't know how much we show in the mansion, but anything that we didn't see that you and Sass did in the mansion there? Any fun games or activities?
Now that you think about it, I'm kind of glad none of that came through because we were pretty. We had a night. The boys had a night.
Did Smitty have a night and Sass was there? Is that what you're saying?
The boys, the boys had a night. There were cheese taken. It was a good time. Cheese taken, noons dropped. It was a good time.
Yeah, that is what I figured. 2 more things and then we'll go. Jordan leaving the council area. We won't spoil it, but how quickly were you like, holy shit, I gotta go, I don't want to say clean up a mess, but you're like, I gotta go kind of reset things now. Was it let me go relax and let this set in? You're like, oh shit, I need to go to work now.
No, honestly, leaving, I wasn't worried. I don't know if it was a mixture of adrenaline and just the fact that the next day was the final. So I was like, if these people are pissed at me, I'm here one more day and then I get to leave. Or if I just wasn't worried because I still felt like Tommy was the most hated person in the game. But I remember leaving and just being like, oh, I'm fine. I'm sure they all like me. We have one more day. I just have to make sure I win and everything will be good.
Sydney, I know you and Jordan, you guys went fit. You didn't dump her off into the ocean, so obviously there's no bad blood there now. But when you left the campsite, did you have in your head well, I am going to be pity voting not for Jordan if she makes it to the finals? We don't know how the final vote goes. I actually don't know if it's final 4, 3, or 2. But when you're if she's there and I can vote, am I going to vote against her? Or am I going to vote for her? Was there any pittiness in your head?
At first, yeah, I was like, yeah, she will not give a vote. And then afterwards, I was thinking about it, and it's okay, I was mad. When I'm mad, I kind of quiet. Obviously, could have said some more, but yeah, at first I was like, I'm not going to vote for her, and then I was like, okay, if she wins, I think she deserves it because that's how I play, or how I envision the winner.
Yeah, I didn't know if because you saw that basically from Bree. Bree very clearly was going to be spite voting, literally against anyone who wronged her. Same with Billy. Vibs said he was, but that's because Vibs said that's his mindset no matter what. So Vibs looked happy-go-lucky, but that's because everyone, I guess, just assumed oh, it's Vibs. He's going to vote against anyone who votes him out, which in that case was you. Actually, one more thing. What was morale like with the eliminated contestants? Vibs said it was very low with Billy and Bree.
Oh, when I got it there? Oh my
Yeah.
God. It was, well, yeah, Bree, I don't know. I think Billy was actually kind of happy. He's like, heck yeah, we have more people like to hang out with.
Right.
So I can't wait to start posting those videos on Twitter because, I mean, we were just hung out, we were like, what do we do? So Billy fell down a large hill. It was hilarious. So I have a video of that.
Sounds about right. Smitty, we leave today. We go to Thursday, August 4th, the finale. You will be in the Mattress Firm Mansion by yourself. Excited to see what you'll be doing. Jordan, you will be at camp, immunity stripped away as you used it to right now your advantage as you have a bit. You're on the right end of a pretty big power play, and you're alongside Sass in the camp and Tommy. One of those four, I believe, will win Barstool's Most Dangerous Game Show presented by Mattress Firm, unless there's some wild twist like Billy Football wins. That is how the game will end. That'll end on Thursday. We'll have a larger reunion on Thursday as well, including Roan. I feel like Roan's going to have a lot of different questions, things to say. I'm very excited about that. You never know. Never know what Roan is going to do. Roan can turn the key and twist things differently than anybody else. So we have one more episode of Barstool's Most Dangerous Game Show presented by Mattress Firm. 4 contestants left, 1 winner. Thank you to Jordan. Sydney, farewell. Smitty, still in the game. 4 remain, 1 will win. I'm Jeff D'Lo. We will talk to you on Thursday.